Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. In this video I am going over 3 winning trades that I took. I think it can be very interesting and useful to tell you why I took those trades, what was my idea, my risk management, my thought process, so that you can eventually learn from it and also use this to your advantage. So if you like the content, then please do me a favor, like, subscribe, click on the bell, click on all so you don't miss anything, leave me a comment and share this video with your friends if you think that's useful. Without further ado, let's start diving in. And the first winning trade that I took was Bitcoin, and that was actually a trade that I already prepared for since Monday, and I also called that in the Discord, which by the way is completely for free. If you want to join that, make sure that you click on the link in the description. Again, it's completely for free. I share there all my thoughts process. We have some pretty good traders in there, so definitely check that out. And I said there on Monday, let's quickly go over to Discord, that I said I was looking for longs, and the first one would be around 105.560 because it lines up with 2 anchor VWAP, one from the top and one from the bottom, and I would be stunned if we do not see a reaction. And that is that first green line that you see here, because like I said, 2 times an anchor VWAP and a point of control. I was pretty sure that we are going to see some kind of reaction off that level. Well, fast forward, that's exactly what we got. We had a very slow grind lower. We are, by the way, here on the BTC USD 30 minutes, so every candle is a representation of 30 minutes. Then we came to that level, and I have to be very honest with you, I actually got in quite early. It was right around here once we reclaimed that point of control, when we were kind of stuck here at that anchor VWAP. And the reason was because it was getting pretty late in my time zone and I wanted to go to bed, and yeah, there was not 100% confirmation, but I put the stop loss a little bit loose somewhere around here, so they had a little bit of a runway. And then eventually a couple hours later it came down one more time. So if I would have had a super tight stop loss, I would have been stopped out, but it came down one more time. And if you then look at what the indicators are saying, then most indicators from the 30 minutes and down all were giving you a bullish divergence. Money flow was still pretty bad, but pretty much every time frame gave you the confirmation to get in. But like I said, that was already very late in my time zone, and I just had a somewhat of a looser stop loss. Now in the hours that followed, you can see that we have this pretty strong move to the upside. We are also right now hitting that value area high of this range that we have been in already for a while. There's that fake blue line here at around 107,700, and above we have liquidity. That is that purple line that you see here that I drew in the chart. That has pretty much taken out the liquidity above all of these highs right here. And that actually is a very nice TP. Now, I'm going to be very honest, I actually thought it would happen yesterday by breaking out of this falling wedge and then to go higher. My target would have been here, but that of course didn't work out. The ES and the NQ were coming down yesterday. They dragged BTC along, and therefore also a lot of the altcoins. So unfortunately, if you were a pattern trader and you were waiting for a breakout, or you took the long as soon as price came here above, then you would have been stopped out. But you can see now there's a pretty nice ride up. Can we go higher? Yes, absolutely. Here on the momentum wave, actually it looks pretty okay. We printed a red dot, but the money flow is now curving into the green, and actually on the time frames higher than the 30 minute, it still looks like we have a little bit more steam. Yes, this hour is almost clipping, and the money flow here also not all too pretty. But if I'm then looking here, for example, at the 4 hour, then I'm thinking, wow, this actually looks like a very nice momentum wave. Money flow still green, VWAP higher, and the RSIs are pointing higher and coming together. So this actually looks pretty strong. Then on some other time frames like the 12 hour or the daily, it is a little bit iffy. So I'm just gonna treat this as a scalp. We have entered the summer trading. Everything is probably going to be a little bit slower. So I'm just I'm not going to be greedy. I'm going to take profits at around this area and move my stop loss. That is trade number 1. Then trade number 2 is hype. This was also a nice trade, but it was a little bit more tricky to define, and that is because there were 2 point of controls. And the reason there were two is depending on how you pull the volume profile and which time frame you're looking at, sometimes it was just jumping up and down a little bit. I had it here one at 37 and then I had one here at 36.70. So what I did is that I limit in this area right here, but I had my stop loss also here somewhat loose, because in case we would dump down one more time and actually this was the true point of control, I do not want to get stopped out. So where you see this this measuring tool right here, that was my stop loss. So I had a bit more of a 2% stop loss on this trade, and that was then 35-ish for price. Yeah, eventually moving higher, and now we are also here hitting local resistance. You can see all of these local lows here on the 1 hour, all these wicks, and it also lines up with a local variance area low. So there's no surprise that price is now stalling a little bit. I have to say also here on the bigger time frames we might still have some extra steam, but also this is a great place to take profit. And above that we still have another point of control, but this coin has been so strong, and we hit a key level that I just needed to pull the trigger here on a long trade, since this coin has been everyone's darling for the last couple of weeks. It's then well, a lot of times one of the coins that then moves faster and earlier. So the trade was from a point of control now into resistance, having a stop loss somewhat loose in case I was wrong, and now just take a profit and just let the rest ride. And then the last but not least is Ondo, and I have to say this is a true beauty, and I'm going to look it up here in the list where I have this coin. Hold on. Yep, there it is. So this was actually a very technical trade. You can see that Ondo here had a big move up, and then we're just slowly grinding lower. And also here it hit a anchored VWAP, and that anchored VWAP is measured from a low that we created already quite some time ago. That was right here on the Saturday and Sunday of June. That's also when BTC made that low, and if you then measured an anchored VWAP, then you can see that price is hitting that very nicely. But also underneath, just underneath that anchor VWAP, we had a daily level, and you can see how price is tapping that level so perfectly and then bouncing off. And also here I got in somewhat early. I saw the bounce. We were at the anchor VWAP. The hourly candle closed green. That for me was the sign to get in. And also here I had the stop loss somewhat loose. And then you can see the hours that followed. We tapped that daily one more time, and then we went higher. Now for Ondo I only have actually one resistance level, and that is the current one. It is a local point of control. Yes, there's a trend line, but let's be honest, trend lines are always a bit subjective. It's just a matter of how you're drawing them. However, it comes in already from a very long time ago, and it had a few very critical touch points. I do right away have to say that these two local highs that you see there, they did not respect that trend line, so take it with a little bit of a grain of salt. But above this point of control, actually there's just no resistance left anymore, at least not as far as I can see them. So once we reclaim that approximately, let's say 77 cents to be very clean, yeah, 77 cents, there's also a PD high. Once we clean that, I actually think that there is no more resistance left until this high right here. So that will be then my next target. Reclaim 77 cents PD high. I think we are going to take out this high right here all the way at 80 cents, and will become even higher. Well, then we'll see what we do afterwards. But this actually yeah, traded so technically clear and clean off the levels. No crazy wicks and moves. That also here I thought it was just too tempting not to put some risk on, and you can see that it worked out pretty nicely. If you like these kinds of summaries, then please let me know, then I'll be more than happy to do this more often. If you have any questions regarding these trades, or maybe you have taken these same trades or you didn't, or you think I missed something, then please let me know in the comments. I find it super useful. And when you're down there anyways, also please do me a favor by liking, subscribing, clicking on the bell, click on all so you don't miss anything. Leave me a comment and share this video with your friends. Thank you guys so much. See you in the next one. Bye bye.